It's the Lunar New Year season. Welcome. Today we are talking about holding the fire. And what does holding the fire? As we know as a man, we experience, talk about this internal fire, this energy, this desire and urge, the restlessness at times where there are also emotional charge when we are faced with certain people, certain situations, or maybe even at certain places. And we are not going to talk about this desire that we want to suppress. Unlike the real world, we all talk about controlling this desire, suppressing it. The core question is, how can we genuinely hold this fire without losing ourselves? And this masculine topic here today is about expanding our capacity to hold this energy and not to suppress or ignore that it doesn't exist. So let's go deep into this topic, which I believe many young men, including men in your 40s, 50s, even in the 60s, you might still even experience this fire that you have inside you, this urge, this desire. And we do not look at it as this having this emotional charge as a problem, because energy itself is neutral. The problem is when we react to it, when we feel uncomfortable, and the reaction itself that does not align with who we are becoming, or even to our purpose, vision, and our responsibility. The desire to want to reach out to someone that we shouldn't be, or getting dopamine kick and validation in person or even online, or just to release this sexual energy to regulate our emotions or escape into stimulation, whether it is any form of online materials or just doom scrolling on social media. The key idea here is, first we need to recognize that this fire itself is the life force. And with this life force, as we recognize it, when we are able to practice part of it progressively into creation, and that is where we realize our energy here can be expanded into something that is far more useful and in time to come that we can be proud of. So some key points of this hidden loop is this. Many men out there, including I myself at certain seasons, often want to regulate the emotions through people, and usually it's of the opposite sex. And it is not about the partners that we have or partner that we have itself. It is about when the presence or when she shows up in our life, what does she help us in terms of our energy? How does this energy shift and flows in the presence of these people? And this external regulation, because you imagine this, if we can learn how to regulate our energy by ourselves as much as we can, how much more do we need this external regulation to help us move our energy? And the pattern can be, it can be a toxic pattern, or it can be a destructive cycle, depends on how creation is involved in the channeling of the energy. So some toxic cycle can be looking at the fire is there, the partner is there. And when there's a trigger, there's an urge. And the urge is disguised as a form of connection, which later upon creates the release and spiral into emptiness and all over again. And as the man who truly becomes honest with himself, at that moment of release and relief, that emptiness, there would be emotions where the man would truly feel that it is creation, or if they are truly honest with themselves, it can feel like numbness or emptiness. And in the short term wise, it provides a pressure release. But in the long term wise, it becomes dependent and it becomes unstable. As we depend anything out of ourselves, that becomes unstable. Because anything out of ourselves is always a constant that's changing. So the POA question we ask ourselves today is this. Whenever we enter with fire, Are we entering from alignment and fullness? Or is it from a space of need and relief? So this moment of choice here for those men, especially during this festive season, there may be a lot of stimulant going on, the celebration, the feasting, the overeating, the places, the parties, the visiting, the energy of the social environment creates multiple moments of emotional spike. And when this emotional spike happens, there would be moment of choices. So what is your moment of choice? When you are meet at a fork, do men want to point towards the comfort side where we can get immediate relief and release? Or how stable and strong do we see ourselves with our own inner alignment that we want to hold this energy and demand authority over it? Because the vicious cycle, for those men who have experienced it, we do know those short-term relief creates only a temporary calm. Whereas when we claim authority over this charge, it rewires the nervous system and it regains new strength that we possibly may not even know within ourselves. And just take note of this: when the fire is high, when the urge is strong, many men would think that, oh, okay, it is not now. I do not want to seek instant relief through my partner, through my partners, or through any other external stimulation. But it is not about suppressing, because at that moment when the fire is strong, how can we immediately learn how to transmute rather than suppress? Because the difference is this: suppressing it means we are rejecting this part of ourselves that is not good. I don't want, is undesirable. But whereas, as we find our alignment over time, we are able to feel fully discharged and to be able to claim authority more and more over time, to choose consciously the action that we wish to take, and as a result, building creative energy and building something sustainable that is aligned with our vision and purpose. So how does holding the fire practically looks like? So when the fire is high, so imagine this right now. There's these strong emotions that's upcoming. Somehow you manage to stroll upon this video. You happen to recall a moment where there's emotional intensity with your partner or with potential partner. And there's a need to reach out to her, to call, to message, to meet, or to get close and intimate. But every time when there is this awareness, we can make a choice and pause before we take that action. Where is this action coming from? Is it from a space of urge and need that I didn't realize I've already been reaching out? Or can I make a choice to just pause? I want this energy for myself. I convert it into workout, into a walk, into something physical energy. Or I can practice my breath work. Or I can just take a cold shower and cool myself down. And let's see how the energy spreads throughout the rest of my body, spirit, and possibly even into the work that I'm building today. So when this energy is redirected to so-called our aligned or higher purpose, it can be work. It can be a new project that you always wanted to start but never had the energy. Or it could be helping you clear the cloud between you and your mission that was never clear, but this time round, seated here in stillness, experiencing that fire and watching you get close and clearing up the clutter that's clouding you from your true vision. And as we do know, this urge, this sexual energy equals to creative energy, and depends on how you want to create this energy on. So with this, the next trait that we talk about would be emotional attachment. This emotional attachment, as we sit down and walk through these powers of alignment program and principles, you'll realize the more that we want to let this energy flow with the need of another partner, it's often that we miss not the other person. It could be a fine line, it could be a mix of both. And if you're honest to be so clear, there's always a big part of us that miss how we feel when we are with the person. It is an anchor and past association to the memory that we had, or the fantasy of how we think we would be when we have them. And as we do know, if you go into depth of relationship, we are experiencing intimacy and compatibility, versus using other partners or a fantasy of how the person's future be like with us as an energy imprint. And before we do that, I mean, nothing wrong to be. In fact, a lot of men who are not aware they are going through such an energy imprint, and it's not wrong. But don't you want to be more aware of your own energy and being able to claim, as I mentioned, claim authority over your energy internally, rather than just mindlessly letting it react out to circumstances, people, or places. And as we build our POA masculine frame, and for those who know my lessons, we always emphasize the importance of the frame, the intent. And as we continue to hold this fire for as long as we can every time with awareness, we will be able to feel deeply. There would be true attraction, we attract, and also be attracted to, from alignment, not a need to chase or need to fuse in order to create the space that we want to feel. And as time goes by, the intensity, the ripples of the intensity will become more stable, but you will realize your stability threshold will reach a new high as you hold this energy throughout more areas of your life and more seasons of the days to come. And when you have this power to stay centered during when your energy charge is high, can you imagine the quality of the work that you build? The clarity of your mission. And as a byproduct, the sustainable attraction and alignment that you exhibit. So my dear friends, don't kill the fire. But as we do know, we are all men. Let's be human. At the same time, set standards for ourselves. Practice learning, walking with containment, and directing this energy, because the moment when we are able to hold this energy, the magnetism that we elude, the aura that we expand, this is true strength, my dear friends. Internally from our system, healthy boundaries that we set for ourselves as a result of self-love, and every choice over time becomes a conscious and healthy decision. We feel the fire, but we decide where it would go. My dear friends, have a purposeful festive season over the next few days, and may this message continue to serve as a reminder for any one of you out there, whenever your power, whenever your emotions and your desires are strong, claim authority, control over them. And when we say control, it doesn't mean suppress. It means you make the choice where it would go into creation. With that, I see you for the next video. God bless. Stay safe with love and success.